As I got closer to our place, I stopped cold. What the heck? I had just come back from my trip. The place should be empty, but there was a light shining from our bedroom. I was certain I locked up when I left. Why was there a light on? Could we have been robbed? The only ones with keys are Troy and me, and he's not due back for weeks. A rush of dread hit me, but I couldn't just stand there paralyzed. Doing nothing could cost me. I immediately dialed 911. Hello, officer. There's a light on in my place, but no one's supposed to be there. When the officers showed up, we cautiously entered, heading down the hall and flinging open the bedroom door. What met my eyes was the last thing I expected. My name is Amy. I'm 30, and I work at a big-time food company. A couple of years back, a product I pitched took off big time, and I just got bumped up the ladder. More work, for sure, but it felt good being someone the team relied on. Plus, the pay bump let me sock away more cash. I've always been a penny pincher, making every dollar count. And here's why. 3 years ago, I married Troy, and that was a game changer. Work used to be my whole world, but now it's all about family and home. I dream about having a kid and getting our dream house. But dreams aren't cheap. Realizing these dreams means being realistic about finances. We'd need money for children and a home. I wouldn't want our child to be deprived of experiences because of money. I want our kid to have the best of everything, trying out whatever they're into. It might be getting ahead of myself, but I can't help but plan for our future. When I got my promotion last year, the first person I rang up was Troy. He'd moved for his job about half a year before my big news. So I called him right away. Troy, you won't believe it. I got that promotion.
No way. That's awesome.
Yeah, and with the raise, we can stash even more for our future.
Guess I better up my game then.
Just keep an eye on that wallet. Even with distance between us, I can't help but worry about him. He can be a bit scatterbrained, especially when it comes to his stuff. He loses things, buys replacements without really looking, and then ends up with doubles. When we were living together, I could keep him on track. But now, it's tougher. He knows my dreams of kids and a home. And while I worry a little, deep down, I trust him. Fast forward about a year. Troy only makes it back to our place every few months. I'd love to see him more, but flights aren't cheap. This weekend, after a 2 months gap, he's back. I finished work early, cooked all his favorites, and just waited. Around 9 p.m., I heard the front door. I popped out of the kitchen to welcome him. And there he was, my Troy. Look who's here. I dashed over, and he scooped me up, laughing.
Hey there. Missed me? I came straight from work.
Aw, thanks.
Nah, got some sleep on the flight. Oh, I got you some chocolates. They're your favorite, right?
Wow, thanks. I absolutely love them.
That's what I wanted to hear. Now, how about dinner? I'm starving here.
I made all your favorites. Let's eat together. I grabbed his hand, pulling him toward the dining room. Seeing the feast laid out, His eyes lit up. We dove in, savoring every second of the reunion I've been waiting for. We chatted and enjoyed our meal together. After we ate, I let him hop in the shower first, thinking I'd go after. Once I finished up some chores and got to the bedroom, I noticed he quickly set his phone down, like he was trying to hide something. "What's up with the phone?" I asked, getting that uneasy feeling. But he just looked away. Then he snapped back to his normal self.
Wasn't trying to hide it. Just didn't want to be glued to it when you walked in.
You didn't need to do that.
It's pointless to be on my phone when we finally get to be together. I want to make the most of our time.
Look at you, being all sweet.
Hey, are you making fun of me? I was trying to have a moment here.
My bad. I really did appreciate it. I moved to snuggle up to him, but he caught my hand saying,
We're both exhausted. Let's just crash.
And quickly went under the covers. I couldn't get another word out, just whispered night and lay down. I was hoping we'd have some quality time in the bedroom, especially since it had been ages since we'd been together. I mean, it was only 11 p.m., and we both had tomorrow off. He knows I've been wanting to start a family. Feeling a mix of emotions, I forced myself to drift off, tears slipping out, because it felt like I was the only one excited about our time. He stayed 2 nights, but there wasn't any spark, not even a hint of it. As he was heading out, promising he'd come back soon, I just blurted, "Do you not feel the same anymore?"
Where's this coming from?
You've been so distant, and I've been feeling alone.
I'm sorry. Work's just been a beast. I wanted to spend some time with you, just being together, you know?
I'm 30, Troy. We've talked about kids.
I gotta go, or I'll miss my flight. We'll chat later,
he said, darting out before I could say anything. Normally, I'd drive him to the airport, but not this time. Our communication dwindled from that point. I'm sleepy, and I have to get up early tomorrow, were his favorite excuses when trying to evade the kid and house talk and hang up. It was obvious that we weren't on the same page anymore. After that, we barely spoke. In the midst of all this, my job ramped up with a 3-night, 4-day work trip on the horizon. As I was packing, Troy called. He usually texts, so this was out of the blue. Excitedly, I picked up. Hey, what's going on?
You've got that business trip tomorrow, right? For 3 days?
Yeah, that's the plan.
Normally, it's just overnight. But this one's a biggie, huh? The company must really be counting on you. Good for you.
Thanks. I hope so. But why the call about the trip?
I just wanted to say knock him dead. I know it'll be tough, but don't work too hard.
Aw, thanks. It was good hearing from you. Feeling a little brighter after our chat, I went back to packing, feeling uplifted by his kindness. I attacked my business trip with a new zeal. Maybe it was Troy's call giving me a boost, but I wrapped things up faster than expected and got home a day ahead of schedule. I was in the mood to relax back home after wrapping up my business trip early, maybe even share a drink with my husband on Zoom. So, on my way, I swung by a store to pick up my go-to beer and some munchies. Though I was worn out from the trip, I felt a spring in my step heading back. I need to ring him up and say, Your call gave me the push I needed. It might also be a good time to dive back into our chat about kids and our future place. While making my way home, I started drafting a text to him. But as I got closer to our place, I stopped cold. What the heck? I had just come back from my trip. The place should be empty, but there was a light shining from our bedroom. I was certain I locked up when I left. Why was there a light on? Could we have been robbed? The only ones with keys are Troy and me, and he's not due back for weeks. A rush of dread hit me, but I couldn't just stand there paralyzed. Doing nothing could cost me. I immediately dialed 911. Hello, officer. There's a light on in my place, but no one's supposed to be there.
All right, ma'am. Can you give me your address?
Sure, it's... A cop showed up in no time. I quickly filled him in, and we both made our way to the apartment. My heart was racing as we inched down the hallway. We reached the bedroom door, and after a brief look at each other, he burst in.
What the?
Huh? Both of us were taken off guard, because right there, in all his glory, was my very naked husband.
What the? Why are you here, Amy? And is that a cop? What's happening?
He looked totally caught off guard, still standing there with nothing on. The cop seemed a bit embarrassed, obviously waiting to see my next move. I managed to say, "Why are you here early? Weren't you coming back next month?"
I got a break. But why are you here? Weren't you returning from your trip tomorrow?
Wrapped up ahead of schedule. Is that an issue?
No, it just caught me off guard. Thought I'd surprise you.
Oh, is that so? Then who's that under the covers? When we entered, I had spotted a face peeking out from the covers, likely belonging to a woman I didn't know. She probably assumed she was hidden because she hadn't budged. But I saw her. My husband, clearly flustered, tried to play it cool. Anger bubbled up inside me. You think you can just laugh this off? How much more are you planning on playing me for a fool? I won't forgive you for this. You won't just brush this one under the rug. Without waiting, I pushed past him and yanked the covers away. There was a faint
ugh
from behind me. Uncovered was a young woman. Who the hell are you? I demanded, my voice icy. The woman, her face pale, wouldn't meet my eyes and said nothing. Perhaps she hoped that staying silent about being the other woman might diffuse the situation. With the evidence right in front of me, both of them exposed, I quickly took out my phone and took photos. They tried to cover up, but it was too late. I also shot a video for extra evidence. The cop, who was still there, looked pretty taken aback by my actions. I then turned to him and said, "Could you get her out of here? She's a stranger in my home. Isn't this a form of trespassing?"
But she's with your husband, right?
This apartment's in my name, and I have no clue who she is. Please, escort her out. I held my ground. The officer, although reluctant, did as I asked. He waited for the woman to get dressed and then let her out. Troy, pale and looking rattled, tried to explain.
Amy, this isn't what it looks like. There's a reason.
He started to reach out, maybe thinking a hug might somehow fix things. I snapped. Who does he think I am? I whacked his arms, reaching me, glared at him and said, So what now? You thought some sweet talk would make it all better? Is that why you were secretive with your phone? Is that why you kept your distance? Because of her?
No, I felt alone being so far away and ended up on a dating app and,
Save your lame excuses. You thought you could play me? I'll make sure both of you pay for this. And you, pack your stuff and leave. Now. Like I said before, this apartment's mine. I had it before we got married. Frustrated with Troy's reluctance to get moving, I reached out to his parents. After filling them in, they showed up, and to my surprise, they brought divorce papers with them. His dad let him have it, and made him sign the papers right then and there. Troy was a mess, trying to hold on, but I was done. His folks took him back to their place. I filed the divorce papers right away, and even got an attorney to secure alimony. Last I heard, Troy's living with his folks, working non-stop at a factory run by a family friend. All the money he makes goes straight to his parents, and he doesn't have a dime or any freedom to his name. As for me, I use the alimony to kickstart a new chapter in a place close to work. Only my parents know where I'm at, so I doubt I'll bump into Troy. From here on out, it's just me. It's a little lonely, but I'm calling the shots now. I'll treat myself right and look forward to better days ahead.